Peace and blessings, and welcome back to the Heritage Hip-Hop Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by www.heritagehiphop.com, where we focus and feature your future favorite artists today on our website. This episode is also sponsored by Transparent Credit Repair, the superheroes of the financial literacy and credit repair world. Changing your life comes with only one decision, and that's how are you going to save your money and come out of debt. By fixing your credit, not only can you open your wallet up to receive new money and open up new savings, but you can stop the trend of opening your wallet to paying off debt. To do so, go to heritagehiphop.com and click on our link for Transparent Credit Repair. All services rendered through our website. You get a 20% off discount for going through heritagehiphop.com. So make one decision to change your life by changing your financial future by going to heritagehiphop.com and clicking on Transparent Credit Repair. On this episode of the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast, we go to Canada to talk to an MC who's very, very lyrical. Someone who studied the 1990s and is bringing it to today with lessons of maturity, lessons of lyrical excellence, and I'm going to certify him as a voice that needs to be heard when it comes to hip hop. The MC that you're about to hear is GB, aka God Bless, aka Got Bars of Hands On Records. Be prepared to receive a treat with this interview, and make sure you go to Bandcamp to check out his music. I'll come back with the rest of my commentary after this interview. Peace and blessings, and welcome back to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. We are the movement that invests in people and not their playlists. And when you find a good person with a good mind and sound character, you let them tell you their story and you don't berate them with a bunch of BS questions. So for that, we're going to give y'all a treat tonight. Please, sir, introduce yourself.
Yep. What's up? This is GB, God Bless, from Canada, representing Hands On Records. And yeah, let's do this.
Now, I'm very biased when it comes to Canadian hip-hop because I don't know too much about it. And the best Canadian hip-hop artist I ever heard was Cardinal Official. For the way he used his wordplay and how he mixed in the West Indian culture with hip-hop culture. What is the diversity of Canada, and what is the Canadian hip-hop scene?
I would say there's a lot of, well, from the beginning there was a lot of like reggae influence, right? So we had artists like Maestro Fresh West, Mishi Me, which she's actually Jamaican also, and a lot of talent that was actually blowing up was coming out of Toronto, right? Because it's a bigger city, bigger market. They had a lot of contacts in the States, right? So there's always that bridge. And Toronto's a big, like, metropolis. So there's, like I said, there's a bigger hip-hop scene there. I'm actually located in Ottawa, which is, like, I think 4 to 5 hours from Toronto. So I say the first big artist that made a major impact would have been Maestro Fresh West in the early 90s.
Okay, that's dope.
Yeah.
So just from a outsider's point of view, because I don't want to stay here on the whole interview, you kind of told me the answer. For those who are slow, let's make it a little more in-depth. What is the difference between Toronto, Montreal, and Ottawa?
Well, basically, in America, you guys have, like, states, right?
Right.
So in Canada, we have provinces. So it's kind of like equivalent to a state. So Toronto is in the same province as Ottawa, which is Ontario. And Ottawa is actually the capital of Canada. Just Toronto, like I said, gets more recognition because of, I guess, the music and the basketball team, et cetera, et cetera. And Montreal is in a different province, which is Quebec. So same country, different provinces. Yeah.
The thing about Canada is not known for hip-hop in the States, but Canada is very respected when it comes to hip-hop in the States. Like I said, Cardinal Official. Everybody knows Drake right now, right? But even Chaos.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Chaos,
Chaos.
yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
there's people who have come out of Canada who kept the elements of hip hop alive by keeping a certain sound and a certain respect of the culture alive. What does hip hop mean to you, and why did hip hop answer your call when it called you, or when you called it?
Well, basically, hip hop is it's a way of life, right? To me, it's more like the culture. Because when I first got introduced to hip hop, I started with b-boying and graffiti, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rap wasn't really something that I was trying to do. I was more of a fan as far as when it comes to the MCing thing. But I first started with b-boying and graffiti, and from there, when I first heard the Paid in Full record from Rakim, that's when I actually started writing. That's what made me want to be an MC. But as far like my whole story is this, right? Because basically in Ottawa, I really started getting into the hip hop culture because there was a dude from Brooklyn. His name is Kevin Bradley, and he's actually from Brownsville. He moved out here, and he had a hip hop shop called Flavor of the Month, and he used to have like programs for kids to go to like after school. He did a lot, so he brought a lot of hip hop element to our city. That's when I really got in depth with the culture, to be honest.
That's beautiful because I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, he really brought the whole culture and what it meant, and actually broke it down to me personally. There's one thing like watching it on TV and actually talking to someone that actually lived it, you know? The whole different experience. So if you listen to my record, I have a lot of East Coast influence due to the fact because the dude that actually broke the whole thing down to me is actually from Brooklyn. So that's where if you listen to my records, there's a lot of New York and East Coast influence to my music. Like when it comes, because I make like boom bap music. That's what I do. Like I don't do drill or none of that other stuff or whatever is popular right now. I really have like a 90s sound.
And I appreciate that because that's my era, you know what I'm saying? But I don't want to go too ahead of ourselves. I want to let everybody get to know who you are. Now, from what I get from your music, right? You are very mature. You look at life for what it is instead of looking at life for what it can be. Why do you stay so grounded in your writing, and why do you put that in your music?
Well, basically, it's how I was brought up, right? Like, I do a lot of reading, right? And when I make music, it's basically based on what I've been through or my surrounding, my environment, what happens to my friends, family members. I like to paint like vivid pictures when I make my songs. I want people be able to see what I'm saying, you know? People can relate to it. That's why one of the songs that I have is called No Peace. Basically, that breaks down the whole situation between the cops and black people that's going on right now. That's been going on now. It's just with the internet and everything, people get like information way faster than back in the 80s and 90s. But it's always based on reality. My stuff is very grassroots and concrete when I write. I don't like to do too much bragging about cars and stuff like that. I like to deal with like daily issues, things that are going on in people's lives.
Let's talk about some issues. There's a song by the last poet said the revolution will not be televised. And Gil Scott Heron says that the revolution was not the revolution in society, it was the revolution of the mind. But as a prophet, he was correct that the revolution is not being televised, the revolution is being live streamed. How powerful is that media, the stream, when it comes to getting the revolution of the mind out and showing the evolution of the mind through music today?
As far as you're talking about the social media and the Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff?
Yeah, all that.
Well, in a way, it kind of like keeps us up to date with what's going on, right? As far as like what's going on in the world. But in another way, it could be misleading because you can't always believe what you see and read, right?
The fake news.
So as far as the fake news, exactly. So it's basically I try to like study and read as much as I can when it comes to that, right? I just don't take everything for face value. That's my opinion on it. As far as like the whole revolution thing, all revolution starts in the mind, right? It's all mental. It all starts in the mind, and from there you can basically put it into action after that, you know?
You know, I'm a reader too. And I like to read things that's not... I give respect to my high school days, because in high school I had to read books that were not consistent with the life that I lived. So I had to get other perspectives of life. And one of the books I read, which was one of the most fascinating books I ever read, is called The Robe. Are you familiar with The Robe?
No.
Okay, so The Robe is a story about one of the soldiers who took Christ, Jesus Christ, if you believe in Christ or not, whatever, it doesn't matter to me, but he took his robe after the crucifixion, right?
Yeah.
And that robe had powers to it, because that robe had the pain, the torture, the sacrifice, and it also was a mental magnet for anyone who was in possession of that robe. Because while people tore the garment and all that, the person who had it went through anguish because they had to be there to see the pain and the hurt of the person who wore it. I bring that up because hip-hop is the same way. That hip-hop holds the pain, the life experiences, and the stories of the people who go through their traumas and goes through the harshness of life only to try to find a way to dance their way through it, commit to a better lifestyle through it, and also deal with a sense of mental trauma and mental release through it. What does hip-hop mean for you when you actually do it? And what do you give to the people who listen to you when you do it?
That's right. When I do it, it's very therapeutic. That's one of the main reasons I started writing, just to get things off my chest. It was never to become popular or make money. It was just basically like, instead of going out and doing something negative, you just pour all the anger and have you going to music, right? And as far as what people are getting from me when I'm making music, I'm just sharing my thoughts, right? It's just like having a conversation. It's basically telling you how I feel and what I'm going through and what my state of mind is. It's basically having a convo. It's basically what. So like you could be like you're in what? Were you in Jersey right now?
That's right.
Exactly. So you write a song, you tell me about what you're going through. I hear it gives me a clear idea. I may not never been I've never been to Jersey, but let's say you write a song about Jersey, where you from, and me hearing it gives me like a mental picture of what you're going through, what your side of your life is, right? Without me physically being there, just by hearing the records. So it's like just having a conversation. We're just exchanging thoughts. That's basically what hip hop is to me, right? And I've learned a lot of things, like listening to hip hop. Like I really didn't know much about Malcolm X and all, as far as like Elijah Muhammad and all these people. I learned through hip hop, through X Clan and Public Enemy and Rakim, Gangstar. Like I learned a lot of things, like just being a part of the hip hop culture.
Well, you have an invitation to come to Jersey and chill with me anytime you would like, and I'll introduce you to people and take you to places that are very Jersey, very hip hop. You know, New York's right there. Everybody loves New York, but my state and my people have a great story to tell too. You know.
Oh, of course, man. Jersey's got a lot of legends, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but let's keep it to you though, because I want to talk about one song that you have called Straight Up. Tell me about the song Straight Up and what you were really getting at when you were barring out on the song.
Oh wow, you heard that song? Okay. That song was I wrote that song in 2016. Yeah, that was basically, I was really in not a good space in life, right? I was doing a lot of bad things, not to get into details and all that. It's really like a street war. Huh?
I said, no doubt. Yeah, we don't want to get into that, all that stuff.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's really a street record about what was going on around me and things that were going on. That's basically what that record was, just going out there and just doing whatever it takes to get bread, basically. That's what that record really is about, to be honest, you know?
Well, I'll let you know, Heritage Hip Hop is not a platform that takes your newest song and do an interview. We like to do background. Because we like to embrace the story of the MC, not just talk about their music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that record was like really, like I said, really street orientated. Me just running around with some of my friends and just trying to get some paper, and I was just painting a picture of what was going on around me and the individuals that I was involved with. You know,
yeah.
That's what that record is.
And I like to use that record because the new stuff that you have now not only shows your depth and growth as an artist, it also shows your depth and growth as a man. That's why I wanted to use the book The Robe for your interview, because The Robe was about someone who had to grow and change due to the influence of something that touched his life. And as I've gone through your history to see your music, your subject matter has changed, your life direction has changed, and your artistry has changed. So one question I want to ask you is, one thing I want to ask you is this: what was the light switch that turned on that lets you know I can take this another way and be better than what I have been already?
Well, basically what happened is, like I said, I was running around doing whatever, and like in life, you can, especially in the streets, man, you're gonna pay somehow, right? You know, you can't get away with things forever. Somehow, some way, you're gonna pay for it. So basically, I caught a crazy charge, and it's something that I wasn't really involved with. It's just basically because me being around the wrong people, I ended up getting hit with a crazy charge, and I just had to sit down for a bit, you know, went inside for a bit, you know, look back at my life and what I wanted to do, and when I was locked up, the only thing I can think about was making music and writing, and I'm like, if I get a chance to come back out this time, I'm gonna do it different, you know, I'm gonna use the mic to educate and speak on things, and so people cannot take the same route that I did, you know what I mean? So it was really a reality check. That's what happened, you know? It was a reality check. So I'm like, yo, if I get out this time, I'm gonna use this hip hop, this mic, and teach and speak on a positive note, you know?
Yeah. One of my favorite tracks that you've done, speaking of that, is Labels. Because what you did was you took the old Jizza track where he talked about the record labels, and in spitting knowledge and growth, you talk about food labels. Sugar, glucose, dextrose, diabetes, cancer, pain, arthritis. How does flipping a classic and making it meaningful to today, a classic as well, how does that influence you to become a better MC and to keep going instead of just saying you did something and you hit a mark in your music?
Well, basically, that happened when I was, like I said, the change, like, it's all mental, right? Like, don't get me wrong, in the past, I've tried to eat better and exercise and do different things, but I didn't know what my goal was, and I didn't know where I was heading in life. So I would start on a positive journey, and I would, like, 2-3 months into it, I would stop. So basically, this time around, what I did, I sat down, read some books. The first book I read was Eat to Live by Elijah Muhammad. And once my mind was my mind was clear, and I knew where I was heading in life, that manifested itself physically. You understand? So basically, when I was just going through some instrumentals on YouTube, and the label beat came off from the Jizza, and in the intro, Rizzo was like, you gotta read the labels, you gotta read the labels. If you don't read the labels, you end up getting poisoned. I'm like, yo, labels, food, boom. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna flip that. He's talking about record labels, I'm gonna flip it into food labels, and that's how that whole thing happened.
And it was
Like
masterfully
I said, I'm
done.
trying to teach more. Yeah, I'm actually really trying to teach more, you know? 'Cause as far as like us blacks, man, we need to not only have like as far as like we need to have like a spiritual revolution, a health revolution, all the way around, you know?
Which once again goes into the revolution not being televised. It's in your mind.
Exactly.
And I like that because, like I said, in doing my research on you, I kind of got a connection with you that we're going to expand on in this interview because, once again, this is about you. It's not about me. And I want to get to know you a little better because one thing about you that I really enjoy and love is the fact that when I get a record from you, it's not a track. Let me ask you your opinion on that. What's the difference between a track and what's the difference between a record or a song?
A song is just a song. It could be about anything, right?
Okay.
You know, like, I don't know, me rapping about how dope I am and, you know, I can take this MC out, you know, like the usual stuff, right?
Okay.
But to me, a record is when you're actually painting the picture. You're saying something, man. It's timeless.
Mm-hmm.
For example, which like Boom Boom Boom, Love's Gonna Get You, Karis one.
Classic.
Timeless record. Timeless.
Classic.
What he rapped about then is still happening now. People
Today.
in love with their chain, their cars,
Instagram.
their money. Yeah, exactly. Different times. Like you said, the game don't change, only the players, right?
Mm-hmm. That's fact.
Perfect
That's
example
fact.
of that. Yeah. So each record I make, I'm trying to paint a picture. I'm trying to make it timeless. You know, I'm trying to take you to this space and time and just paint a vivid picture. You know.
I think you're raising the bar to what a new voice can be in hip hop because the territorialism of hip hop has changed. Let me tell you what I mean. Because this is going to go into your track and record thing again. See, today hip hop is full of participants, not artists. So there's people that make tracks. They just put sounds out to see if they catch. An artist takes his time to build his canvas, and he builds a background, a midground, and a foreground. I've taken your first project and you studied the new project, and I've seen that your background is developing, and now you're in your midground. And that mid part of where you at is where your mind state is developing, not completely where it's going, because that'll be your foreground. In your midground, I get tracks like Labels. I get tracks like Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em. Is that one?
Yeah, that's a freestyle. I just redid the whole Rakim. I just redid the Rakim record there. I don't know if you're familiar with it, the Eric B and Rakim track, Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em.
Of course. And I listened to your stuff.
I'm just saying that because the thing, the labels thing that I had it on Instagram, everybody was like, dope track, dope beat. I'm like, yo, that's a classic beat from the Jizza.
And that's my point.
These people, yo, it's crazy.
No, but that's my point. That's your midground. That's my point. Your midground is you coming from the background of where you've been and now going to where you are by taking the classics to reestablish your voice, and you're catching both audiences. Because the new people will hear what you're saying, but the elder statesmen will see or hear the beats and they go, okay, he's well taught and he has something special about him. What kind of pressure does that put you under as an MC, though? I wonder.
No pressure, because I'm doing what I want to do, right? There's no pressure at all, man. Pressure comes when you gotta live up to an image that's not you, right? You gotta live up to this hype. I'm doing me, like the whole labels thing is not just something I'm rapping about. Like, I'm actually making these changes in my own personal life, like being careful what I eat. Like I exercise more now, you know, like this is me you're getting, man. This is not a facade or some type of image or trickery or or scam I'm trying to put on the people.
Mm-hmm.
No, man, this is me, man. I'm actually.
Well, look, this is where I want to get to in this interview, because the you that you're portraying is a hope that people have always wanted to see hip hop be. You know how people love Griselda?
Yeah.
And the number one reason why people love Griselda is not because of their music. It's because they pay homage through their music. And you're walking that same line. One thing that you made that impressed the hell out of me was, first I had to go to your cover art for No Peace. Shout out to you and Casual, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So even the No Peace cover art is reminiscent of an EPMD album cover. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And then you're tackling today's issues, but you're calling back the mind to things that were of yesteryear, yesterthought. Was that deliberate? Is that a marketing plan? Or was that you just paying homage?
There was both. It's me paying homage and for the people that know before they even listen to the record, just the cover of that record itself will make them want to click on it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because there's so much music coming out these days, you gotta find out a way to stand out.
Right.
Right? So I knew if people that know their history about hip hop, as soon as they see that record, I'm like, oh man, that's that EPMD. Boom. I got a lot of positive feedback from that, you know. A lot of people loved the way I took the art and just flipped it.
Yeah, it's masterfully done. You are a teacher, or you're becoming a teacher, and the next line of becoming a teacher is a professor. And when you profess, you're not only giving a lecture or giving a lesson, you're speaking life into the minds of people that come to listen to you. KRS once said an MC is a person who can rap about your life to you, and a rapper just raps about life to you. The song Black Survival, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a song about the essence of the struggle and years of pain. And the same story has been repeated over and over and over, to even a point where in other songs you talk about learning from the defeat of the spiritual men and how you even get an FOI, your respect. Why is it important for you to not only give the bars, but also teach in the bars the same way?
To be honest, I'm not when I write these records, I'm like, okay, I gotta sit there and I gotta teach the people. I'm just really writing and speaking from the heart so people can understand where I'm coming from. Like the whole bar of the F4I, I had to give a shout out to the F4I, because they had, in Ottawa, the F4I had a temple here. They had one minister that was here. Yeah, dude, I've met Khalid Muhammad in '95, man. He came down here and gave a speech.
Nice. How did that change your life?
So, it was amazing. I've never seen no one speak like that with such courage and boldness, and it was, I was impressed. That changed my life, man. Like I said, I didn't really know too much about the whole history when it comes to Malcolm X, and because they don't teach you that at school, right? So,
of course not.
It teach you a lot. Yeah, exactly. So, I didn't know we had all these black heroes and black leaders, and all that took place in '94. All that took place in '94, '95. That's why I named that record. And in school, I never really paid attention, as they talk about a bunch of stuff I didn't care. So I was like, the only teachers I respect is FY, Fruit of Islam.
And in retrospect of when you learned that, you have a record out called 1994 right now that matches up the Nas Illmatic face and the Biggie baby face of his daughter. And you made one face, and you wanted to capture the essence of '94. What do those two faces represent to you, and why did you want that as your cover art?
'94 is the year those two records came out.
Okay.
Illmatic and Ready to Die, right? And there is the whole beef thing about how it said Biggie bit off the Nas cover and blah blah blah. I just wanted to capture the essence of that time because those two records had a lot of major impact here in the streets. As far as I know, as far as like a lot of brothers started doing certain things because of those records, you know, they really got influenced, right? So all his influences came to me in '94, like the street stuff, the FOI, and there's so much knowledge and so much stuff coming out. I had to make a choice, you know, and that's when I really started taking rap seriously and going to like get money to go to the studio and record. And buying equipment and, you know, doing shows. Yeah, '94 was a great year, man. Great year.
It was, and it lives on today with the influences of the people that have come. Yet, as the industry became the major hand in the music side of the culture, a lot of the wisdom has died, and the game has evolved. Look at b-boying. B-boying became the fashion industry, and also TikTok dancing, unfortunately, and unfortunately for some. Graffiti went from the buildings on the corner to now comic books and anime.
Yeah.
Right? DJing, unfortunately, became the playlist, but fortunately, it went to marketing and production. The microphone, though, is the only thing that went stale because now people are telling you what to say and how to say it. What do you think will bring the wisdom back to the culture? Is it going to be the MC, or is it going to be somebody instructing the MC to be MCs again?
I think the change has to happen in the real world before it happens in music. Music is just a reflection of what's going on out there. You know what I'm saying? In order for the culture, the state of hip hop to change, it's got to change in the streets because that's where it comes from. Just to be honest, man, like the world's a messed up place right now, man. Not just for hip hop. Yeah, hip hop is just a reflection of what's going on. So but there's still groups out there still doing boom bap and still doing positive hip hop. You just gotta dig and look for it. It's just not on the mainstream platform.
And that was the prophecy of the late 90s and early 2000s, that hip-hop would go underground.
Yeah, it has, but it's out there. I think we need to build our own platforms like our own Instagram, our own Facebook, where we can dictate what, you know, that we can dictate the content of what should be promoted. Because you can't beat the machine, man. You can't.
Well, all you gotta do is unplug it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. Don't try to. I mean, like, you can't beat as far as trying to join it and try to change it. You need to just create your own forum, like your own platform, and that's what I'm trying to do.
No, that's what you are doing. No, that's what you are doing. And I can tell by the music that you make, even the art from your records. Let's be real. You have a new song out called The King of Pop, which gives total respect to Michael Jackson. And you even give references to Michael Jackson in the bars. But you have smooth criminal Michael Jackson with a goddamn gun spraying a rat, and the rat's bleeding to death, and the rat has rainbow hair. Tell me about that, Kavar, or what statement you were making.
Well, basically, like, the record for Michael Jackson, remember the time when he makes that, like, that song, like that noise? It always, each time I heard that record, I'm like, yo, it sounds like a gun. So I'm like, when I get the chance, I'm gonna build a beat around it and use that sample and try to make something out of it. And eventually I was able to do it. And basically, the rat on the ground is Tekashi. It's just when he came out of jail and he claimed that he was the king of hip hop, I took that to heart, man. I'm like, this dude is being very disrespectful. You know how many people have died and put in work for this hip hop thing for this clown just to come out of nowhere and claim to be the king of New York. That's crazy. So I'm like, I'm gonna make a song called The King of Pop. Basically, like, he doesn't make hip hop music, he makes pop music. He's the king of pop. So it's really like it's subliminal. So Michael Jackson's the original king of pop. So I'm gonna use him to gun down the fake king of hip hop. That's what it is. That's basically what the whole record is about, you know? In the first bar, like I said, I'm like, I'm King Kong in the jungle. You won't rumble, little monkey chimpanzee, how you bubble. But, you know, like Michael Jackson's monkey was Bubbles, and I'm like, you're not a King Kong gorilla. You're a monkey, man. You're Bubbles. So I use a few of Michael Jackson's songs, and I just flip. You really gotta listen to the bars. Like I do a lot of wordplay on that track.
Yes, you
do. A
do.
lot of wordplay. Yeah.
So let me ask you
That's
this
just
question.
me having fun and sparring, you know. I like to kind of like get in my little battle rap mode from time to time. But I like making like conscious records, to be honest. But
I want to
here
ask
and
you
there,
this
I might
question.
just, yeah.
As a lyricist, though, what is the drive that makes you a lyrical MC? Is it the understanding of the bar or the punch of the bar that makes people sit down?
For me, it's
Yes.
it's both, man. I like to play with words, man. I like to do that for fun, man. I like just like I'll listen to other rappers because, like I say, rap is very, as far as MCing, like a lyricist is very competitive. Like I might hear, like when I used to listen to Rakim bars when he's like, I'm the R, the A to the K I am. If I wasn't, why would I say I am? I'm like, yo, that's crazy. How did he even put that together? So I'm like, yo, I gotta come up with something crazy. It's just, it's the whole thing. The moment you stop having fun doing this, then it's over. It's dead. I'm actually having fun. Like,
Yeah.
it's time I write rhymes, you know.
I like that. You impressed me to the point where I'm dying to hear an album from you, because I was gonna put up on Instagram when I first found you. The quote I was gonna say is, you know that feeling that you get when you find an MC that changes your perspective of how much you listen to music? I just found that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to put that.
That's big, man. I appreciate that, man.
Well, I mean, you know, for me to say that to anybody, and people know how much I love hip hop, I'm very picky. You know, I'm very picky.
Oh, me too. I'm the same way.
Yeah, and when I listen to hip hop, I like to take my time and enjoy it. And we have great artists that nobody hears. And I'm telling you now,
that's what kills me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, what kills you? Go ahead, tell me.
No, there's a lot of dope artists out there, and I'm like, damn, how come this guy hasn't got more views, man? How come this guy is not, you know what I mean? That's crazy to me. And
you know why?
It's all this garbage that gets all this recognition, and it's trash.
And you know why?
Crazy.
Because we took our art and made it the viewership and not the ownership of it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So I want you to continue to do what you got to do, man, because you're I'm gonna say to everybody on here who's listening, this is Karel from Heritage Hip Hop with GB, who's God bless, also got Bars of Hands On Records out of Ottawa, Canada, and we're gonna put it right now that this MC is Heritage Hip Hop certified, and we're gonna work with him in the future as well. So before we close out our interview, no doubt. Before we close out our interview, this is the first part of the interview. I would like for you to drop your social media and tell everybody how they can get your music.
Well, basically, you can reach me at handsonrecords.com. That's HANDZON records with an S.com. My handle on Instagram is handson365. Twitter is God Bless Live, GODBLESSLIVE. And to reach me, as soon as you go on handsonrecords.com, it's like a one one-stop shop. All my social media links, all my merch, everything, my Bandcamp, SoundCloud, all that's on handsonrecords.com.
All right. So before we go to the second part of the interview, I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, this is Karev, and I want to say, whenever you find an MC that you enjoy, please do us a favor and buy their music. Don't just stream the music, because streaming is basically for people who don't really love the culture. They just love taking advantage of the culture. And we do that a lot. What we do is we'll pay the middleman to take advantage of the artist so that the artists don't get paid for their music. Like I said, if the internet went down tomorrow, you don't own your music, you don't have your music, you know. And God Bless is somebody who I think, if you really love hip hop and bars, you should really check his music out. And I'm co-signing him right now, and I'm letting you know, go to Bandcamp, look up Hands On Records, and get the music, because by buying the music, not only do you sow into the artist, but you guarantee yourself more music by showing them the appreciation. You agree?
Thank you so much.
I guess he agrees. So right now we're going to go to the second part of the interview, which is called the rapid fire questions. You want to play this game with me?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, the rapid fire questions are not yes/no questions. Rapid fire questions are your knowledge of hip hop, the culture, and your depth of understanding of the culture and the music. You ready to go?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. What song or album perfectly describes you that's not from your catalog?
It's not from my catalog?
Yeah, somebody else, man.
Let's Get Free, Dead Prez.
Ooh, okay, you militant-minded. Gotcha. Okay, let's get free. My second question is this. What is the golden era, and is there really a golden era when it comes to hip-hop?
Well, that's a personal choice. Me, I'd say the golden era is like the 90s, but for someone else it might be the 80s. That's like a personal choice.
Yeah, I personally don't believe there's a golden era at all. There's no such thing as the golden era. To me, the golden era is whenever you finally understood the hip-hop culture, and that's what you grafted yourself into. Yeah. I can't tell somebody that the 80s is better than the 90s or the 90s better than the 80s. It depends on your understanding of life at the time, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
So I say that myself. But my next question for you is, hip-hop is a sport. Just to me, hip-hop is more like boxing than it is any other sport. And if I look at you like a pugilist, you set the rhyme up so that the punchline knocks a person down. What's the one bar that you heard that made you that set you up and made you sit down and get your pen game more correct when you heard this person rhyme? Who made that bar? Who was that?
There's so many of them, man. I'd have to say the Rakim, the 7 MCs. I take 7 MCs, put them in a line, add 7 more brothers who think they can rhyme. But take 7 more before I go for mine. That's 21 MCs laid up at the same time. That was very deep, and cause 777 are all God numbers, and like I said, if you study that FY Nation of Islam, it was lyrically on point, mathematical, it was all that, and it was just crazy. That's the one that made me sat down. I'm like, this is crazy. It's insane. There's layers and layers of there's layers and layers of meaning behind that bar. It's just crazy. Yeah.
Are you a Muslim or a 5%er?
No, I'm Christian. But knowledge is knowledge. You gotta respect knowledge.
Okay, no, because I was gonna ask, because this is another thing I want to ask you. Truth is the most hated but yet necessary thing in life.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's like pain. Like you like it's pain. Truth is painful, and I find that a lot of the influence of hip hop comes from the 5% Nation of Guys of Earth in the 90s, especially if it's East Coast music. And you're very 90s based sound. So I wanted to know your influences, and does your faith influence your music? That's what I wanted to ask you.
To some degree, though, I believe there's certain records I wouldn't do, or certain things I wouldn't do based on my fate. You know, there's certain things like I wouldn't rap about, certain things I wouldn't do, and to a certain extent, yeah.
Okay, I respect that. So that kind of takes 3 of my questions out, because I thought you was, thinking that you were, and I had 3 questions set up for you. So I'll move the questions to this point. You take a lot of beats and you rhyme over them from the 90s and early 2000s from those type of groups. What is the perfect beat? Meaning if that beat never came out with that artist, it would have been your beat and your first single.
Oh, you want me to pick someone else's beat?
Yeah, what's the perfect beat that you ever heard? Like, if that person never came out with that song, that beat would have been yours and it would have been your first single. What's that beat?
Oh, man. Damn, brother. I'd say, just from the top of my head, I would say, you know what? The Jew the Damager, Ain't the Devil Happy by Primo.
I love that beat. What? I love that beat.
Yeah.
Even the laugh and the scratch. Yeah, that's a classic album, man. And nobody talks about that album.
Oh man, I got something coming on that beat very soon, man.
Oh, okay,
very
great.
Soon. Yeah.
Are you
doing a lot of
all
teaching on that record?
Are you compiling all these songs?
No, it's just, you know what I do? Just to work on my pen game and stay sharp, I do write a lot of stuff on some throwback beats. Some of the stuff might never come out. I'm just saying, it's just me just sharpening up my sword and just staying sharp. That's all it is.
Okay. Because that's my next question. My next question is, you rhyme on a lot of old school beats to get people, used to you and your depth of knowledge of the culture. Is that an assist to you when you come out with more traditional and contemporary beats, or do you think that can hold you back to the eyes of the people that listen because they know you for the old school beats more?
Yeah, there's pros and cons to it, right? I just, like I said, it's a personal choice. One thing I've come to realize is I can't please everybody. That's just the truth. And some people are gonna like the records I make. Some people are not gonna like it. Just to take for example, the whole label freestyle I did. A lot of people were like, "Oh, it was a dope track." A lot of people was like, "Oh." One of the funny comments was one person says "Oh, black people are gonna knock you off for talking like that." You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, at the end of the day, I can't please everybody, right? But as far as picking those beats, like I said, it's just for me to make sure my skills are always sharp. But I can rap to the new school stuff. I just choose not to. That's basically what it is.
I'm not mad at you, man, because like I said, in studying your flow and delivery, I like the presentation, and I really want to hear more from you to see where you're going. And with that, with hip hop, we have our dream tracks. What would be your dream track if you could make it with another artist, dead or alive, no restrictions? Who you featuring with you, and who's doing the beat?
Oh man, the beat definitely would be. I gotta go with Primo. It'll definitely be a Primo beat. I would have definitely would have Nas on it. And who else? Black Thought, because he's ill with the pen game, is crazy.
You Nas and Black Thought over Primo?
Yeah. Is
there any more?
I would throw Easy on that. Nas, Easy, and Black Thought.
Oh my God. Okay. You going supergroup status. Okay.
Yeah, because all these three brothers can get like they can get lyrical and they can teach you at the same time. And if you want to battle, they can hold their own. You know, like they're well-rounded MCs. The topic, I don't know what the topic would be about, but I'm just saying definitely these three brothers on a primo beat. That would be crazy. That'd be epic.
Yeah, I think that would suffice itself to be very beautiful. I have three more questions for you, then we're going to close the interview out. My next question is this. To be respected as an MC goes a long way because people respect what you say, but also being respected as an MC comes with a drawback because people have fear of you and will try to shut you out. Since you've become an MC, what is the one thing that you learned that made your life more difficult rather than better because you did music?
One thing I've learned is like sometimes when it's hard to make people understand like what you're trying to say. It doesn't, even if as vivid as I try to paint the picture or as clear as I try to be, there's always a misunderstanding and misconception, and that what hurts me is like I really don't have any control over that. I could paint it like even if I do a positive record, there's always gonna be someone, I don't like what he said, blah blah blah, you know, and it's crazy, but that's just something I'm gonna have to live with, and you know, basically that's something I have no control over. Because once you put the music out there, it's out of your control. You can do whatever the hell you want with it, right?
Right. But see, that is a hard lesson, but that's a great lesson too because it teaches you to own up to what you say and watch what you say. Because if you said something that you didn't mean, why would you say it? You know what I mean?
True, but I'm just saying, even if it's positive, there's always someone's gonna find some negative aspect to it, right?
That's a great thing if they do. That's great.
Yeah.
You understand that, right?
Yeah, I understand it. It's just it's crazy because like basically like I said, you can't please everybody. There's always gonna be that one person that's gonna be like, oh man, you know.
So everybody out there that's listening, that struggles with that, remember, you're in darkness half of the time of your life because you go to sleep and you wake up. So there has to be balance. You're going to have people that love you. There's going to be people that hate you. If everybody loved you and everybody hated you, something's out of balance, and that's not good. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's a well way to put it, yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, I have a reflection question I'm going to add to this, but my next question I'm going to ask you is, hip-hop is just a door. And everybody gets stuck at it because everybody wants to be in the door. They want to be in the party. They want to be in the limelight. They want to appear on the red carpet. But once you go through the door, it opens you up to a new world of possibility. Besides rapping on the microphone, what do you want hip hop to open up for you that you could do for the rest of your life, not just rhyme for your life?
No, I just like right now I want to do documentaries like as far as like traveling the world and just showing how other people live and how hip hop has affected their life. And I'm just trying to connect with other like artists as myself. It doesn't necessarily have to be hip hop. Just people that have a message and they want to change the world and make it a better place. You know, that's my ultimate goal, right? I just want to travel and meet people that are out there trying to make change and trying to make the world a better place, man. That's my goal, man. I know hip hop's gonna open that door and allow me to travel and meet people from different backgrounds, different races, you know.
Well, may the Most High bless your steps and may you make that happen because you put it in the air. And remember, now that you put it in the air, if Satan is the Lord of the air, you know there's going to be things out there to try to hinder you. So fight for it, and I pray that it comes to fruition for you. All right?
Yeah, we're working on it as we speak, but it's just like the whole COVID thing, you know.
Yeah, it's a bit.
Kind of messed things up.
Yeah, I know. So here's our reflection question. It's a testimony. How would you like your interview with Heritage Hip Hop, or would you recommend us to someone else?
Oh, 100%, because you actually did a background check, right? There's some of the interviews, you send them the songs, and they probably listen to the songs on the day of. They have no clue who you are. They only know the 2 songs you sent them. I would definitely recommend you guys because you actually did your research. You know, it was well prepared and well structured.
Appreciate you. Thank you very much. And with that being said, that sets up our last question of the first interview. Heritage Hip Hop has an open door policy. We're not bougie. You don't have to have a top 10 Billboard song or something to get on. As long as you make music that we like and when you have a subject matter that grants a conversation, our doors are always open. So, brother, if you ever want to come back to Heritage Hip Hop, you have our connections. All you got to do is just call us or hit us on Instagram or whatever, and we'll make that happen. All right?
Oh, dope. I love that. Respect.
So with that being said, here's the last question. 500 years from now, in the Hip Hop Hall of Fame, a young man and his mom and his dad is going to walk through the Hall of Fame, and they're going to go, Hands on Records changed the world. Mom and Dad, what does that mean? And they're going to say, push the red button, and your hologram is going to come out. And they're going to hear Labels and King of Pop and so many other songs that you have yet to produce. And you're going to open the eyes of a child who wanted to know who you were and gave him more than he expected. So my question to you is, as the most important question of the first interview, what is the legacy you left behind that made the world better because you did hip-hop and created it?
What's the legacy I left behind? I would say I made it popular to take an unpopular stand.
Go ahead, elaborate.
Want me to elaborate?
Yeah, talk about it.
No, basically when everybody was going left, I went right. You know, like, it's like, let's say the song's Label, for example. It's hard to take like a topic as far as like eating food and malnutrition and diseases and health matters and add a flow to it and make it hip and keep people like in tune and listen to it for a minute and 45 seconds, because that's all I'm rapping about. It's not an easy thing to do, right? So I took something that's not really popular, and I'm trying to make it hip to be healthy and be alive and be positive, because around us right now there's a lot of negativity, man, like lean and Molly and perks. That's the in thing for the younger crowd, right? So I'm trying to come around and trying to flip it into like, nah, man, you need to eat your vegetables and be strong and, you know, read labels and read and make sure you don't just poison your body with the garbage and the toxic that's out there, you know? I'm basically fighting an uphill battle. Like, the odds are not in my favor.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, everybody, remember that you don't always have to do what the world does. You have to be yourself. And by taking a stand and not being what the world is, people will pay attention to you and you will be heard. You will get your message out by not being a sheep in the crowd. You will get your message heard by shepherding the crowd, by standing your own ground and leading them to the way you have to go. So we want to give a shout out to GB, who is God Bless on Hands On Records, and shout out to his cover art, because Godless America with the demon head and the little boy in the suit and the bullet hole through the Canadian flag is bug out. Y'all will see some crazy stuff from a crazy artist who's very, very great. Not good. We say no to good and yes to great. So with that being said, this is Karev from Heritage Hip Hop with God Bless for Hands On Records saying peace, and we out.
All right, peace.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast, as we bring you the greatest MCs, not only from New Jersey, shout out to the Bricks in New Jerusalem, but from around the entire world. And we had the pleasure to showcase a Canadian MC by the name of God Bless on this episode. Make sure you go to Bandcamp and check out his webpage on Bandcamp to get merch and music. You can also check him out on YouTube at Hands On Records, Hands On Records, HANDZRECORDS, Hands On Records twice. The video Labels is bugged out, and it's one of the songs that made me really want to look into who he is, and this cover art for his singles are great. Before we get out of here, I want to once again give a shout out to God Bless GB and his movement, and I want to thank you, the people who listen to this podcast, who make it great. So once again, if you want to support us, we are Heritage Hip Hop at heritagehiphop.com, Heritage Hip Hop on all social media, Heritage Hip Hop on Spotify, iTunes, and now we are on Heritage Hip Hop at Boomuit. That's BOOMUITT. You can check us out there and help us monetize these videos and bring you more content. I'd like to give a shout out to the Fleet DJs, shout out to MJ and Hip Hop Connects, and the Heat DJs who will help make us great by bringing you some of these great artists. You know what I'm saying? I'd like to give a shout out to our team. Shout out to BQ Fatty's Place. Shout out to Firejaw. Shout out to Lex Diamonds. Shout out to Michael Bradley of Transparent Credit Repair. Shout out to the Goodfellas. Make sure you subscribe to The Recap with the Goodfellas on YouTube. Great show, podcast, great commentary on media, sports, news, trends, finances, everything. We talk about everything on there. So shout out to my guys, Tommy Guns, Big A, Dav, and Shy Montana. I'd like to give a shout out to A Squad Rebel Radio and everybody who supports our family, friends, and people who make our community and hip-hop culture great, which is you, the listener and the supporter of our movements. So with that being said, this is Karel from Heritage Hip Hop saying thank you for everything that you do to make hip hop great. Stay safe, mask up, and be vigilant. And we say peace, and we out.